Yo, what's going on, guys? Today, we're going to be making a video on some more Scream 6 news. I had seen this yesterday on Twitter by Tristan, but I never got a chance to make a video on it yesterday, so now I'm doing it today. But before I get into all this stuff, I first want to ask if you guys can please hit the like button. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate it. It helps out the channel a lot. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And we're going to get right into everything. It's not really much that we're going to be talking about here, but we're just going to get into all the stuff I want to talk in this video that had came out yesterday. Yesterday, like I said, Tristan had posted this screenshot and this information that came from Hello Sydney on Twitter. And Hello Sydney had actually posted the article that I screenshotted as well. But Tristan has shared this information, and I screenshotted this. And it says, new Scream 6 subway scene information has been shared on Twitter by Hello Sydney. An extra cast in the scene reveals that the scene takes place on Halloween, and she wears a bride costume, paying homage to Samara Weaving in Ready or Not. So basically an extra, just a side character, who they just random sideline characters that they pay to be in the movie. They're not really, they don't play a big part. They're just like, in it for certain scenes and whatnot. They're kind of just like background sideline characters. They're, those kind of characters that you normally see in movies. Basically an extra was part of a Scream 6 scene that had to do with the subway. Train, and she was like part of it, I guess. And we know about the whole subway train pictures and all that stuff. We've heard about it. We've seen them. We know that's going to take place in Scream 6. We're going to have some type of sequence in the subway. But apparently this extra who was cast in Scream 6, for a few scenes, she had a few scenes where she was in the subway train, and they were like, she had dressed up as Samara Weaving's character from Ready or Not, where she was wearing that bride costume here that you see in this picture. And that's basically what this is all about. And I'm gonna show you guys the article from Hello Sydney. So basically, it shows here, as you can see, she's wearing this extra that was cast in Scream 6. She's wearing this bride costume that Samara Weaving was wearing in Ready or Not. And it's like this same costume here. And she's just an extra, and she's wearing that same costume. Basically, they're gonna have a few homages to Ready or Not. And basically she was cast, like I said, as an extra in Scream 6. But if you read the article here as well, at the second sentence here, it says Canadian content creator Billy was cast as an extra for 3 scenes in the production, in which the storyline happens during Halloween. Her costume for the trick-or-treat party, the bride, who was immortalized by Samara Weaving, was played by Samara Weaving. Like I said, it's just a big homage here that she has. But there's another thing here that shows the other things that she talked about, because this originally also came from her TikTok. This Billy girl, this originally came from her TikTok, and like I said, she was an extra just for the Scream 6 cast, and she was in a few scenes, and she revealed some of this information on this article from Hello Sydney. And this part as well says, Billy also described a bumpy subway chase scene that looks similar to what they did on Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I had to shove Ghostface on the subway, and we were trying to plan where best to put him. And I just said no. But if we put him there, I took the guy next to me and moved him. the guy in question was a director and I didn't know it. Everyone was super uncomfortable, but I think the director liked me because I was clumsy. Fun fact, in the subway sequence, they took a real subway car and created a way to move it, to make it move for real. It doesn't just move in the windows, it moves for real. And when it shakes for real. And the extras who fall for real. So this is just like awesome to just see, like just knowing how like they're actually building, these sets, and they're trying like, ways to make it realistic and, make it feel authentic for when we watch the movie. It'll be like, because you know how you see certain movies and, like they have like this terrible CGI and terrible effects, and you can just tell that it's fake. Like you can obviously tell, you're like, bro, this is like fake as hell. Like this doesn't even look real. Like this CGI and effects are so bad. Like, you can tell that with certain movies. But I actually like that, they built the whole subways train set, and they're, building things, and they're trying to make it feel realistic, with the shaking and the movement and all that stuff, the windows. They're trying to put all these little details to make it realistic. And I honestly, I like that. And another thing too is, like I said, at the top, Billy, who was the extra, and that was in casting this Scream 6, she said on the subway sequence, they pay homage and do something similar to what they did in Friday the 13th Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan, which is just another awesome thing to hear because, like I said, whenever I had first heard about this whole subway sequence thing, immediately I first thought of Jason Takes Manhattan, where Jason was on that train and he was just like chasing the Rennie, which I just realized and remembered her name. She was kind of a forgettable final girl in Jason Takes Manhattan, and in that franchise in general, in my opinion. So that's kind of why her name just blinked out of my mind. But when her and her boyfriend are being chased by Jason, and Jason Takes Manhattan on the train, and then Jason's like chasing them, and all the New Yorkers are just ignoring Jason and acting like nothing's happening. And I was in my head when we had first gotten this news about the whole subway train, and we like got the pictures and stuff. I was just thinking, like, what if they do something similar to that, or they like, have a scene where Ghostface is like, he like, just pushes someone, or they like pull levers or something, the emergency brakes, and he like falls back. And, like something like that. Like, I don't know. That would just be so, like, funny, but also just a cool homage to Jason Takes Manhattan with just that scene alone. If they do that with that subway sequence. So, yeah, but it seems that that's what they're doing, though. They're doing something. They have a chase scene in the subway train that is similar to what they did in Jason Takes Manhattan, which is just cool. And, that confirms basically we're getting a chasing for in the subway, and whatnot. So, I think that's cool, and I'm glad. And, I'm glad they're paying homage to Jason Takes Manhattan as well. I'm hoping they poke fun at certain scenes in Jason Takes Manhattan, like maybe they have like a scene where Ghostface kicks a boombox or something, and he just like kicks it, and then like you have these like those street those street gangsters that were in Jason Takes Manhattan, but you have it with Ghostface, and Ghostface just lifts his mask up, and they're like, oh no man, we're just playing around, and then they just run away. Like, bro, imagine they do that, bro. That would just be so funny. And just a cool homage. Like, like I said, I know for a fact there's going to be a whole bunch of references to Jason Takes Manhattan for sure. Like, even Kevin Williamson, actually, in the interview, he had confirmed that there will be references. But yeah, and I'm like I said, I'm just glad that we're getting a chase scene in the subway, you know, and it's just like I'm glad they're doing that. But yeah, I think it was just funny though, like whenever like reading this article, and she had said that like in the beginning here, she says I had to shove Ghostface on the subway, and we were trying to plan where best to put him, and I just said no. But if we put him there, I took the guy next to me and moved him. The guy in question was a director, and I didn't even know it. Like, just reading this article, I'm like, bro, you're telling me this extra, this Billy girl who was an extra in Scream 6, and she was just like she randomly went on the set, was just like demanding the directors and everyone what to do, and she was like, and they were just like looking at her like what, like all the whole team for Scream 6 and the directors and all of them, they were just like, who's this girl, like what's she doing? Like, bruh, it's just funny reading this article, to be honest, knowing that that's what this girl did, like as like she's just an extra in Scream 6, and she's over here doing all that. Like, I don't know, I just found that funny. But yeah, but I do appreciate her for posting all this information, and hello Sydney for posting this article, and Tristan, for sharing it out and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much all we have to talk about in this video. There hasn't been much Scream 6 news, but I think everything here that we talked about in this video was pretty interesting. And yeah, hope